Hello, everybody, and a good thing to you all. Today I'm talking about My Adventure with Superman, season number 1, episode number 4. Let's go to Ivo Tower, you say. In this episode here, we got Clark, we got Lois, we got Jimmy doing their first reporting job. They're going to interview Dr. Ivo. He's the big guy in the industry when it comes to like inventing and robotics and stuff like that as well too. And he has a demonstration there, some kind of party gala. Everybody's there. They're gonna go there, ask some questions, some simple, super little questions, nothing too deep, and then they just go home. And that's pretty much it. That's their thing. They probably write their first article for the first time, something small, superficial, nothing that deep, and then that's about it. And you got Lois. She's on a mission. She's going to ask these people the hard-hitting questions. She's going to go after these people and find out the truth and what was going on. And everybody she goes to ignores her. Don't pay her no mind. Don't even look at her direction. As soon as she starts saying reporter, she's like, no. And she's so aggressive about it. Then you got Clark saying, Lois, I feel you. I understand where you're coming from. I want to be there too. But how about we just follow the questions that Kat gave us? We just ask them, and then in time, when they see our good work, we will move up in the ranks, and then we can ask the hard-hitting questions like that. Now, you got Clark telling her that until he saw Lois get interviewed by Dr. Ivo. And then when that happened, his reporter style kicked in hardcore, and the way they demonstrated that showing his confidence and his ability and believing in his work, how he looked like he grew in size compared to Dr. Ivo, and where he was talking to him and asking him hard-hitting questions. Now, another thing about this episode I thought was interesting is though the way they portrayed Dr. Ivo. It kind of reminded me a little bit of a Tony Stark, how he is in the MCU, as well with a little bit of Steve Jobs combined, and also they introduced the parasite in this episode, who's also being played by Dr. Ivo, which is very different than is in the comics. Because in the comic, Dr. Ivo makes Amazo, the robot that has the ability to copy the powers of all the superheroes. But by him becoming the parasite, he's still kind of doing the same exact thing, but he just absorbs the energy and then uses that energy to pretty much redirect it back at the person who gave it to them. And so he pretty much sucking up Superman's energy and then using it to fuel him and get him stronger, and then we fire back up as well. But it also he's not a metahuman. They're also using high tech, the same type of tech they use throughout the entire show, which probably most likely is all Kryptonian. So even though he differentiate a lot from the comic books, it still didn't take me out of the show. It still didn't bother me how he portrayed how the character looked in the design, especially when he's in the suit. It was actually pretty cool and very interesting to me. It looked like they used a combination of like both organic and inorganic material to make this suit as well, combined with the alien tech, which was also very interesting as well. And also like how Superman defeated this character as well, because at first he was trying to fight him head on, and he was just absorbing his energy and firing it back. But when he realized what was going on, he used his mind to pretty much avoid him, like beat him without actually touching him. Very interesting and very Superman way to handle situations as well too, because he can do more than just throw punches. So it actually shows that he actually has a mind too. He gets to think on things on the spot, and come up with strategies how to defeat somebody without actually using his hands to do it. Now, I don't know if any of these people that so far are going to get powers later on beyond their tech, and they become part of Superman's rogue gallery, because in the intro it looks like it's mostly like all of the people who he has fought coming back to fight him back, and it looks like there's also a district there. But also in the intro it shows Jimmy and Lois by his side. Now, the show is called My Adventure with Superman, and there is a twist in here. It's a slight spoiler right here if you haven't seen it. Lois finds out that Clark is Superman's episode right here, which makes perfect sense because they always labeled Lois as very, very smart, very highly intelligent, one of the greatest reporters of all time, and she can never tell Superman or Lois. But things though, she's around both Superman all the time. She's around Clark all the time, and the way he disappears as well too. She's noticing that stuff, and then she got all this new information about missing flying kids, an angel from a place like that too. And when she sees that flying picture for the flying boy in Kansas, that was inside Clark's jacket, and which also, because the thing is though, Clark tried to hide that and he put it in his coat, but at the same time he didn't realize he was when he gave that coat to Lois to put it on her, where she was cold, and she's gonna check inside his pocket. But the thing is though, it doesn't bother me that Lois found out so soon, Because this show has taken things in a whole different direction than it is in the comic books. I don't exactly know where it's going to go, even though I know the origin story of Superman, even though I know a lot of his rogues and stuff as well too. Now, what they portray here, it feels new, and I don't know where it's going to go. Makes you excited for the next episode. I just, where are you going to go from here? Are they going to keep this up? Are things going to turn around? Is Jimmy going to find out as well too? And are they going to keep it between them? Is it going to make Lois and Clark getting closer? Because in this episode right here, their feelings for each other was starting to form now. And then you have the thing is, I felt sorry for Jimmy because you started seeing him from the outside saying, "Oh, I thought it was the three of us," and I'm realizing it's the two of you, and I'm just tagging along. And it's very odd and always very fun to find out you're the third wheel. And watching because the thing is though, he knew from the start that Lois and Clark had feelings for one another, and they also were attracted to one another. And now he's seeing it firsthand. Like this, oh, they're going to be a couple now. And now, when Lois finds out that Clark is Superman, and she already said that he's the liar, I wonder how they're going to affect the relationship, or if things are going to change, or things get worse, where she try to trick him to confess who he is, because in this episode, he looked like he wanted to confess to the Lois who he was, and then she started blaming Superman for what's going on with her mentally. It was, oh, maybe I should just shut up. But the fight scene in here, the fight scene I thought was done quite well. The animation seemed to improve. It's always been great in this episode. The characters drawing and design. It still have humor to it as well too. The only thing, it has two things in here I wish it didn't do. I thought, well, I didn't really agree with. Like, it's Superman. Well, Clark got his jacket ripped off when he got thrown out the building, and then Lois sewed it up for him. So he had to take his jacket off, and then she took his jacket and shirt off. And he had no Superman costume on at all. And she got to see how buff he is, too. And we also get a more backstory that he never played sports. He's brought the chess team. So this also shows that his intelligence and how he can come up with strategies as well, which also plays well into the episode. But then when things go down, when he becomes Superman, he opened up his shirt and the costume is there. And I just, where did it come from? Like, how was it there? Like, how? What? He had his shirt off the whole time. He's just in a t-shirt and no Superman costume. Now that makes no sense, but whatever. Okay, but sure. Okay. I let that go. And then I wish they had Lois in a dress. I don't know. It's a little thing there, but it's what it is. But I mean, she's still cute with what she was wearing, but still, I wish she. And I think she might be Asian of descent in this version of her. But overall, great episode. Enjoying where the story is going. The twists and turns in here is very interesting. I find fascinating because like I said, I don't know where this is going now. Like this taking Superman in a whole different way. At the same time, still feels like Superman. It's not changing the character who he is as a person. They're not changing his personalities at all. They're not making him all grim and gruff and moody and angry at the world and like that. So he still feels like Clark. He still feels like Superman. Jimmy and Lois still feel like themselves. And you can see. And also, like I said, you could get a little bit more of Lois's motivation, not the core of it, but you get like the desperate need to try to be a great reporter. They don't give the reason why, but you can tell that there's something is there. And now that Lois knows who he is, I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to like form the group as well. Because like I said, in the theme song, when it comes on, is Clark, Jimmy, and Lois all together facing these things. So let's see where this goes. Overall, great episode. Looking forward to see where we go from here. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of this episode of My Adventures of Superman. If you haven't watched it, check it out for yourself. Hopefully you're watching, you enjoy having watching it too. So give my channel a like, give it a thumbs up, shaboop, and subscribe to my channel and share. I would appreciate it. Also, links down below. Click on my social media. You want to follow me there. I would appreciate that as well too. And also my stores about selling my shirts and socks and everything else and whatnot. So like I always say, in my dreams of a life, I am the NinjaRabbit. Peace out, peoples.